Now to our continuing coverage of yesterday's deadly crash in Warren. 6 teenagers died after the SUV they were in crashed and ended up in a murky pond. 2 people survived. Today, the community's coming together to remember the victims. News Channel 5's Kristen Volk is live on 5 in Warren. And Kristen, I understand you spoke with relatives of 2 of those young people killed.
I did, Lee, and both of them were in absolute shock and disbelief that the teens they knew and loved very much were taken so suddenly.
She had a son, loved her son. Like every time she brought him over, she'd be like, "Hey guys, my son." She loved him to death.
19-year-old Alexis Kaysen was a proud mom, a high school graduate.
She was a sweetheart. She was super, super nice.
And a foster child. Martisha Calhoun remembers her foster sister fondly.
She would do things and you wouldn't even ask her to do it.
Kaysen was behind the wheel of that Honda Passport that careened into this pond early Sunday morning. In that car were 7 other teens, including 14-year-old Brandon Murray.
I seen all that water, and they probably didn't have a chance, panic, scared.
Adriel Lampley had to come here for himself.
Basically a good, wholesome, sweet kid. All he wanted to do ever was play football.
To see how his cousin Brandon Murray's life ended so tragically.
They messed up pretty bad, and please send somebody quick.
2 of the passengers managed to escape. They ran about a quarter of a mile to a friend's house where this 911 call was made.
Even if they had cell phones because they were in water, the 2 survivors did have to get out of the vehicle. They were completely submerged in water.
Lieutenant Brian Holt of the Ohio Highway Patrol says there are a lot of questions right now, but not many answers yet.
We're still piecing this whole puzzle together. And
what Holt does know is that there were no open containers in the car. They were speeding, and not everyone was wearing a seatbelt.
It is concerning. Sunday mornings are typically very quiet. A day of rest, if you will.
He also says weather wasn't a factor in the crash.
It's always heartbreaking when you lose somebody, especially when I think that they're 19, 20, teenager in their 20s or whatever, things like that, because they don't even have a chance. They even really get to live life.
The Warren Police Department told us today that the driver of that car, Alexis Kaysen, had no prior criminal record, and the Ohio Highway Patrol told us today that this crash was the deadliest crash in the county's history and the deadliest in the state of Ohio in at least 3 years. We'll have more on this tragic incident coming up at 6. Live in Warren, I'm Kristen Volk, News Channel 5.